You know what? I should probably explain the hat. See? So it has been a really long time since I made a YouTube video. About a year, actually. I believe the last proper YouTube video that I made was in Palenque in Mexico, and that was, yeah, about a year ago. So a lot has happened in that year. I was in Mexico for about 6 months altogether. So I started in Playa del Carmen on the east coast, went to Tulum and a little town called Valladolid, which is in the central part of the Yucatan, and a really cute little town. And then hitchhiked from a little town near Valladolid to a place called Rio Lagartos, which is in the north. Then went to Holbox, which is an island of the north coast of the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico. So this is hard, guys. Who am I even talking to here? I guess it's just YouTube or the internet. It's strange. I was just telling someone that I want to get back into making YouTube videos and sort of tell everybody about adventures and what sort of cool travel stuff there is out there. But it is weird making these videos because you're talking to no one and at the same time you're talking to everyone. So let me just take a seat and do this properly. So I was in Mexico for about 6 months altogether. I was in Holbox, Isla Mujeres, which was a cute little island, but it was very touristy. The whole Yucatan Peninsula was really, really touristy. So I wasn't a fan of that, but apart from that, it is beautiful. I did some diving in cenotes, in the ocean, in Cozumel, this island of the east coast of Mexico. Beautiful, beautiful diving. It's from Cozumel down to Guatemala and Honduras, Belize. All that area is the second biggest barrier reef in the world. It's called the Mesoamerican Barrier Reef. You've all heard of the Australian Great Barrier Reef, of course, but this is the second biggest one, and it was beautiful. Really, really gorgeous coral, very colourful. Visibility was amazing, so yeah, really cool. And you know what? I should probably explain the hat. I got this hat in Mexico, and I love it. And now I'm in America, and I'm still wearing it. It's a cool hat. I went and visited these Mayan ruins called Calakmul, which was really cool. And after that, I went to Palenque. And around Palenque is when I stopped making YouTube videos, because I found that trying to travel and work and make YouTube videos at the same time was just taken away from work and from travel. So instead, I've now kind of taken a break from travel. So now is my time to kind of tell you guys all the stuff that I've been up to and all the stuff that you can do. After Palenque, I went to Villahermosa, which is a town in Tabasco in Mexico. I'm assuming that's where Tabasco sauce comes from, but I'm not 100% sure on that one. And after Villahermosa, I went to San Cristobal de las Casas, and that was a really cool place. It was very cold and really beautiful mountain air, so it was really, really nice. And after San Cristobal de las Casas, I went to Puerto Escondido in the south coast of Mexico, in the state Oaxaca. That's a fly. Puerto Escondido was nice, but again, it was super touristy, and it was very sort of, it wasn't as Mexican as you want it to be. But then I went to Oaxaca City, and Oaxaca City was wonderful. It was probably one of my favorite places in Mexico, because there weren't as many tourists, and if there were tourists, they kind of blended in with the Mexicans. So that was really cool. I loved Oaxaca. All the 6 months in Mexico was by bus, and then I took a bus from Mexico to Guatemala. And in Guatemala, I went to Lake Atitlan, which was beautiful. The lake itself was beautiful. Again, it was very touristy, so I was really wanting to get off the tourist trail when I got to Guatemala, and I ended up staying with some couch surfers in Guatemala, so in a place called Coban. no tourist goes to Coban because it's really, there's nothing there. But really what I wanted to do was immerse myself with Guatemalans in their country. So I stayed with a couple who hosted me in their house, and they were really sweet. They didn't really speak in English, so I had to speak in Spanish with them. They had a little dog, which was very cute. And then after that I went to Flores. The capital of the Mayan Empire is in Guatemala. It's a spot called Tikal. So I did a tour to see the Mayan ruins of Tikal, which was really, really cool. And then I took a bus down to Rio Dulce, and in Rio Dulce I did some couch surfing again. So I stayed with a guy who lives on a boat, this random Russian guy, and he had a spare cabin on his boat, so I slept in that for a couple nights, and that was a really cool experience, just seeing, you know, an alternative way of life. And I think that's one of the best things about couch surfing, is that you get to kind of see how other people live and get inspired, really get inspired into living a different way if you want to, potentially. After Rio Dulce I went down to Honduras and traveled Honduras solo. Went to Tila Island, which was really the highlight of Honduras, and then to Nicaragua and Costa Rica, all by bus over another 3 months. And then finally I was so exhausted in Costa Rica that I took a plane from San Jose, the capital of Costa Rica, to Chiclayo in Peru, which is in the north of Peru, and then from there to Cusco in Peru as well. And then I settled down in Cusco for a good 3 months, just to sort of rest and work. After living in Cusco for 3 months in Peru, I took a flight to Quito in Ecuador, and then I lived in Quito for another couple months, and also took a trip to the Galapagos Islands, which is part of Ecuador. Truly a dream come true. It was so incredible, and I will do extended videos on each of these little adventures as I go. I just wanted to do another YouTube video today to kind of catch you up on my route and sort of set the scene for the kind of videos to come, I guess. So after the Galapagos I went back to Quito, then to a place on the west coast of Ecuador called Manta, then from Manta to Guayaquil, and then from Guayaquil to Detroit in the US. And at this point I should mention that in Mexico I met somebody. So I've been traveling solo for on and off for about 5 years, and finally in Mexico last year I met somebody who I like a lot, and so we traveled together a bit as well. So it wasn't fully solo, all of this stuff. Some of it was solo, some of it was with my now boyfriend. So I went to Detroit because that's where he's from, so that explains why I went to Detroit. I tell people that I went to Detroit, or that I'm going to Detroit, and the first reaction I've got is, why are you going to Detroit? And then I realized when I got here, actually, you know what, it's kind of a cool place. The city of Detroit itself is kind of rough around the edges, but cool in that way. And then the suburbs are really beautiful and green, and yeah, just really wonderful, really spacious. And I'll do a whole video on sort of America itself, the USA, because I had pretty strong feelings about America before coming here. Some of it I was right about, and some of it probably the world is right about, and some of it actually, you know what, the world needs to know about, and some of it is really positive. So I will do whole videos on like the countries that I went to and the experiences and everything I've learned. After Detroit we went together to the Bahamas because we found cheap tickets to the Bahamas. Turns out that actually once you're in the Bahamas everything is very, very expensive. The Bahamas are probably the most expensive place I've ever been. Really crazy prices for everything, so we weren't there for too long. And after the Bahamas I was pretty much ready to go somewhere familiar again and settle down and get down to work. So we traveled back to Mexico, and I was on the east coast of Mexico again for quite some time. I got a tooth surgery out there because one of my wisdom teeth was growing in the wrong direction. So I can put had dental surgery in Mexico, tick, on the list as well. After Mexico, we went to LA for a festival called Lightning in a Bottle, which was my first festival actually, and it was really cool. Such an awesome experience, really amazing people. It was very different. It was kind of a hippie alternative festival, which I love. And after Lightning in a Bottle, we went to San Francisco, went to see the Golden Gate Bridge, but didn't see it because it was just far too foggy. And after the Golden Gate Bridge, we went to Detroit again, which is where I am currently. So I'm making this video from Michigan, the state of Michigan, which apparently looks like a hand. If you look on the map, it really does look like a hand. And Michiganders, the people who live in Michigan, they will refer to where they live. They'll put up a hand and they'll point to where they're from in the state using their hand. Something I've learned while being here in Michigan. It's been really wonderful. This year has been so enlightening. So I arrived in Mexico in January 2021 and I am still in the Americas. Travel always makes you learn so much. Travel makes you look within at yourself. Travel also makes you look outwardly to the rest of the world. Travel forces you to meet other people, look at how they live, look at the similarities. Really, a lot of the time what you do realize when you go traveling and you meet so-called different people is that actually humanity as a whole, we're all pretty similar. Everywhere you look around the world, and this is something I say time and time again, there are good, wholesome, amazing people everywhere in the world. I have so far had very few bad experiences when it comes to traveling, and a gazillion amazing, wonderful experiences. So that just goes to show that really, guys, the world is really not as dangerous as people make it out to be. And by people, I mean the media. The world is a safer, kinder place than we are made to believe. It's been truly magnificent, and I'll keep making videos. I'll expand on some of the stuff I said today, so I'll go through different adventures that I've been on and hopefully inspire more people to travel adventurously and travel with learning in mind. Really travel to try and understand people, understand cultures and the world. And I spent so much time in nature, which is amazing for your soul. So I always encourage people to go spend time in nature. And of course, I'll be talking about fitness. Of course, I'll be talking about how I did and also didn't manage to go to the gym throughout my travels. And I'll talk about what I ate. I'll talk about how it is to be vegan while traveling, especially in remote corners of the world. And I'll talk about the wildlife experiences, diving and national parks, being in jungles and forests and things like that as well. So I guess stay tuned. And I changed the channel name to Isha's Adventures because that is all encompassing, because this channel is going to have travel adventures, fitness adventures, learning adventures, spiritual adventures. It's going to have a bit of everything. So I look forward to making those videos for you guys, and I hope you enjoyed this one. It's been really nice to get back to it. Have a lovely, lovely day, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.